in this video, we're going to be making this countertop. It matches the other countertops in the house. They're porcelain stone, although they have matching front edges. This one is different because they asked for a 2-inch oak edge around the perimeter. That's why it's back here in this area. There are a couple of things that we need to consider as we continue forward on this project. Number one, we need to make sure that this wood edge is durable. It doesn't come apart. Number two, we need to make sure that this surface here, where the two pieces come together, comes together level, almost as though it's one piece flowing from one to the other. And then third, we need to make sure that we fill this gap between the two so that no water, food byproducts get down inside there and cause bacteria issues or, of course, water damage, where we delaminate the edge from the stone.
Sorry about that, but as you can see, I've already started without you. Poured that thin set on top of that plywood decking. That's going to help keep that porcelain perfectly level. Also, we don't want any voids under there, because if there's a void under there and there's any weight or pressure put on top of that countertop, could crack. Porcelain is very brittle and really easy to break. So you're going to hear my domino machine begin to slow down. That's because somebody's been using it and doled my bit. Better get a new one. Woodworker's Candy Store, especially if you like Festool and other hard to find interesting kinds of tools. We got all their finishes. To check this one out, CapCut. And of course all of their Rubio. These small shop woodworking tools. That's one I might have to get.
Sounds good.
No, the Festool.
I'll make.
Well, it's not quite the fit I was hoping for, but makes sense to have these little totes, don't you think?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no worries.
Here we go. If any of you can remember why I came in here to begin with, put it in the comments down below, I guess. Oh, that's right. There it is, got it. All right, so what I like about this, you know, a typical router bit or something, you would just tighten the chuck. This is cool because it actually threads on. Threads on and off. See, it's not going anywhere. It's also staying very solid and sturdy, which will help the sharpness as well. Because if the old one off, gotta put the new one on. See, that one was pretty burnt up. I'm just gonna screw this clockwise, right back on here. Go right back to work. Now, time for everybody's favorite part, assembly. And I love that little clicky sound. If you're looking at the background and wondering what this place is, this is actually our millworks shop, Central Valley Millworks. We're actually located in Oakdale, California. We do a lot of commercial work and quite a bit of residential too. Hotels, restaurants, you name it. In the top left-hand corner of the screen, back in that area, that's our machine area. That's where we do all of our CNC cutout and edge banding, dowel insertion. All of that big equipment lives back there. Oh, and Anthony also lives back there. My workspace is actually in the far back corner where I can't bother anybody else, near the loading dock. And as I remember, I'm out here because it's a cluttery mess while I'm still trying to build storage cabinets and tables to work on, and all of my tools are spread out everywhere, so I can't do anything back there. Oh, and this table is extremely heavy, and so I really didn't feel like carrying it back into that area. That's probably the real reason now that I think about it. Almost finished with this part. Just a little bit more clamping. You see that one clamp? I only had one really long one available, so I took two short ones and kind of connected them there in the middle on the opposite side of where I'm at. So I'm going to give this a day to let the glue dry, and we'll pick back up where we left off. Now that it's dry, I got a little bit of squeeze out along the top with the construction adhesive. I need to cut that out. I could have masked it off with tape, probably just peeled that off, but it's going to be easy enough to just take my knife and then cut that bead where it's squeezed out a little bit over the top, and we'll cut that out. And then I'm going to have to level this in some places, because in some places the wood is just a little proud of the stone. And for that, I'm going to use a really cool tool, and we'll get to that here in just a bit. I should have gone into the AI song generator and made a song called Lips and Gaps. That'd have been a pretty good one for this. Got gaps between the two pieces, and we've got lips where the wood stands proud. But I've got a really great tool for that. Here it is. The Viratex Lip Planer. If you'll direct your attention to the bottom side of this planer, you will find the blade that will trim the wood. And here we have the base. It rides on the stone to make us perfectly flat while the cutter trims. Although this tool was designed to trim that wood edge without gouging into the stone surface, I've had it happen before. It's user error. Have to have it set up just perfect. I did not want to damage this piece of porcelain, so I went ahead and set up a straight edge just to make sure that I couldn't go too far into the stone. Kind of a check. You don't want to go too deep at first because you don't want to risk going too low. You know, you can always go down, but you can't go back up after you've taken the surface off. Now, feeling this, I can see that now we're actually square, which is good. So we took the first layer off and we squared it up, but I still feel a little bit of a lip here. Need to get that off. So what I need to do is adjust this down for another pass. And so the way you do that is to unscrew this knob, and then here's the adjustment wheel. And what that does is raise this base, which is really the guide path, up and down at the level that you want it to ultimately be. And then we'll adjust it to where we want it to be, and then we'll lock this up. And I've already done it. So I'm gonna lock this up and make a pass. Man, that is super smooth. Look at that surface is perfectly aligned all the way across the top. You notice on the end here I left it because I didn't want my blade coming through the end here, and as that blade wheels out, I didn't want it to chip the outside edge. That just means we'll be sanding the rest of the way. I'll go get the sander while you get some popcorn.
All right, let me show you one of my favorite Festool tools here. And I actually have 3 different sanders that are cordless, and that's what these are. This is a cordless orbital sander, 5-inch. But what I love about this, and I've got I don't have the basic tool, I actually have the complete set. And the complete set comes in this box that has a tray at the bottom for sandpaper, or what I love is these batteries that slide in. And this kit comes with 2 batteries. But what I really, really like, besides the fact that this is portable and easy to use, which I love, everybody in the shop keeps coming and stealing this because they don't want to use a corded sander. And by the way, this sander has lasted me probably at least a year and a half. Haven't changed one of the pads yet. I bought an extra pad because, you know, my history with, or at least my experience with, you know, any other types of orbital sanders, DeWalt or Makita or whatever, the pads go bad really quickly, and I don't know what it is about this. I've used this thing like crazy and still haven't had to replace the pad. So that's pretty good in and of itself, and it just keeps going, and the guys, they come in, I mean, they love it. It's convenient. You don't have to deal with cords, and it's just easy to grab and go. But what I do love is that besides that, it comes with this attachment, which basically slides into the same port where the battery would go, but you can actually plug a cord that comes with this kit into this so that if you didn't, or you ran out of battery, your batteries weren't charged, or whatever the case was, for whatever reason, you could actually just plug this in. So you have the option, which, man, I just love. It seems like Festool just thinks of everything. So anyway, got this really nice cordless sander. I'm gonna sand all of this, you know, this raw wood here with that, get it down to where we need it, and ease these edges, and we'll take it to the paint shop.
Have a few minutes of sanding here. I just put a small clip because it's kind of boring to do, and even probably worse to sit around and watch.
Okay, got this thing all sanded on the surface. I'm actually going to take it. Oh, look at that, I got some kind of cool mustache there. I just noticed on the camera. On my nose. Yeah. I've got the surface of this thing all sanded. It's nice and even, and we're looking good all the way. No chatter marks from that.
You know, whatever it is I'm saying here can't be as important as the fact that that guy just stole one of my tools right before my eyes in broad daylight.
Gonna load it up in this box truck, take it next door to the paint shop, and get Louise on it. Hey, Louie!
Hey there, Ronnie!
It's a little bit too scripted. We need to.
We do?
No. Okay, so that's pretty heavy. Okay, hop up. Let's see what you got.
Hey, let's see what you got, Ronnie.
Let's see what you got. I know what I got. Okay, maybe right here. Wherever you think's easiest. It's pretty heavy. Got it? All right, go ahead, test.
Hello.
Hello.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Whisper and be dramatic.
Oh.
Hey, everybody, this is our painter for our cabinet company, Central Valley Millworks. His name is Luis. He's the best painter in the valley, right?
That's true. That's true.
All right, Louis, we got to finish this with the same black that we did on the island cabinet. So, as I remember the process, we put a Rubio product, which is a 2-part product.
Yes.
Correct? So
oh,
it's
yes.
like a black stain with a hardener so that we don't actually have to put a top coat on it, right?
Correct. Exactly.
But,
yes.
but before...
Exactly.
You're too eager. All right, but, but before we put that on, we have to lay down an undercoat, right?
Yes, we do.
So it's like we used a spray stain on the cabinets, but we'll just wipe an undercoater on, and we do that because in order to get the depth of black that we need, we have to lay that undercoater on so that when we put the stain on, it just adds that extra layer of depth.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
All right, I'm back with Luis to take a look at the finish we got.
Absolutely.
And definitely got the black on there. So here's our product. This is the undertoner from Rubio Monocoat. And then here is the black Monocoat with the hardener there. So that's what we used for the color on the perimeter here. And then you can kind of see, and I'll get a better up close view of it, there's kind of a white haze.
Yes.
That's from...
That's from the clear that is from Renner. It has zero sheen. So what happens when it dries out, it looks like natural wood,
Right.
but it's actually protected.
It's completely dull. Looks like
Completely
there's no
dull.
finish on it at all, so it's flat.
Yes, it's flat, very
right.
flat.
Okay, so that's a good product. It's just a top coater after everything's done. It helps just give that little extra edge of protection. And then we actually have this. This is not part of the finish, but we decided what we're going to do for these gaps along the edge between the stone and the wood was to take this resin with the hardener, and we're going to put some black dye in there, mix it up, and inject with a syringe into all of those gaps around the perimeter. And that should actually fill that color and make it look pretty good.
So you can see that white haze because it's not all the way dry yet, and it's a water-based product. So it leaves that kind of milky look. Well, okay, it's time to put in the epoxy. Mixed it with a black colorant and poured it into this little syringe, and I'm squishing it out all the way around. So I don't have to do too much sanding. I'm spreading it, of course, towards the paper, so I don't have a bunch of sanding and cleanup afterwards. Turned out pretty nice, although I had to do a second coat.
Can see this edge where we put the epoxy in here. It's nice, but you can see, one, it's glossy, and two, it's a little proud, and that's okay. We expected it to be. So what we did do is we came down here, and on this end, we did a little sanding. And you can see it's level here. So we'll talk about that process. So what we did was we identified the line between the stone and the wood, put a straight edge here like this piece of corian on it, and then we took a block with a piece of sandpaper on it, and we sanded away. That way we had a nice straight line, and we didn't cut in to the stone. You can see how nicely that's coming together right there. I got this edge done all the way. Man, I wish you could feel this. One of these days, YouTube will have some kind of 4D experience where you can actually feel things. Just a little raised area here. Just got to knock it down with this sanding block here. Just lightly. But it's a really nice edge all the way down. So, gonna be good. Gonna work. Using these Meta glasses. And what's cool is you can see what I see. And if I can see a sheen, you can probably see a sheen. And I see a sheen here. And that's because we just kind of absorb down inside the crack instead of standing proud over top of it with the epoxy. So we're going to have to give this another fill. And there's some spots like that all the way around. Not too many. And then again right here in this corner. You can see it actually. The wood stands proud. So I'm going to have to take the sander to that and knock that down. Other than that, turning out really nice. You can see the gaps there. Well, we've still got to put a little extra in. But man, look how tight that is and smooth. Beautiful.
because of the epoxy, we had to sand it all down. Epoxy refill, we had to sand it all down, and we're gonna put another coat on it. So at least we get to see the process here. One thing that I will say that we have learned about epoxy is you've got to make sure you give some time to dry. But because time is of the essence right now, we're gonna go ahead and do the undertoner with a spray stain. We have just enough air in the air compressor, hopefully, to get this spray stain on, because our power went out today on the whole block. So we're gonna do what we can with the air we got left. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, ready, go.
All right.
Nice. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. Man, isn't that cool? I know it kind of looks like he's spraying paint, but it's not. It's actually just a spray stain, we call it. A black spray undertoner. Kind of see how that looks. Now we've got the Rubio here, mixed it up. 2 parts, 3-to-1. And that's basically it. All right, here we go. Let's see the difference. Yep. Darkening it right up. A coat on the bottom, a coat on the top.
Look out, you're pushing.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, okay. Come your way, right? Ouch.
My way?
Yeah, right. No, my way.
So here's the finished product. Here's the island, the front of the island here, the back of the island here, and that kitchen is also ours. Had several difficult design elements involved on this project. This wood edge, of course, the inset doors, the inset refrigerator panel, inset dishwasher panel, and then over here on this side, the diamond shaped cutout holes in those big doors, and then that bench. But really pretty in the end. Again, thanks for watching. There'll be plenty more ahead, so keep checking back. Don't forget to like and subscribe.